Hey guys, my name is Gurinder. I run a company called Pacific Automation, and we book meetings with decision makers using meaningful cold outreach for our clients. And I want to make a video what it takes to get your very first client and realistically how long it takes and all the other mediums that are available to you to be able to get your first AI automation client. I'll break down the steps. I'll tell you the psychology behind what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. So without further ado, let's dive in. How do you sign your very first AI client within 90 minutes? A little bit of a clickbait, but hear me out for a second. Now there's two of the best ways that I found. First one is Upwork, and the second one is cold email outreach. Cold email outreach will get you consistently in front of clients who are willing to spend $5,000 to $10,000 a month, plus a certain amount of revenue share. When it comes to Upwork, the ticket prices of the products are a little bit lower. But why Upwork is so important? Because it might take you 5, 6, 7 months to sign your very first client using cold email outreach. Because when you first begin, you got to figure out a lot of things. You got to figure out the technical side of things. Then you got to figure out the actual copy side of things. After that, there's a whole other side of things, which is sales. But we won't talk about that in this video. I basically want you to be able to create enough momentum. So if I was starting from zero again, and now keep in mind, if I was starting from zero, I do nothing but cold email because I've already done it before and I have a certain level of confidence. But if somebody is just starting out and it takes them 4 to 5 months to be able to sign their first deal, that is going to take a lot of confidence for them to continue. Most people don't have that type of confidence. Neither do I, by the way. So you want to start off getting some money in through the door, because when you make at least even $1 from the internet, you kind of get hooked on it. You realize this is actually a real thing. You don't have to ever effectively work and go to the office every single day for a paycheck. You could basically make all your money online. So when you start Upwork, there are certain things you want to purchase. They're called connects, basically. They're just credits. And when you buy a certain amount of connections and somebody puts out a job, say it's going to cost you 20 connections to be able to bid for that job, and 20 other people bid for that job. You want your application to be better than everybody else's. The way you would do that, my recommendation, put aside at least $500-600 a month to be able to purchase these connections, and that will allow you to bid on at least 4 to 5 jobs per day. When you bid on these jobs, AI automation jobs, you want to also send a video along with your little description of who you are, why you could do this job better than anybody else, and the guarantees that you're willing to give that person for hiring you on as a team member. You know, they might pay $800 a month, and that's better than zero. It's 10 times more difficult to go from $0 to $10,000 a month than $600 a month to $10,000 a month. That little bit of cash you have coming in through the door, that'll keep you going. That'll keep the momentum up. That'll keep your spirits high. But to go from $0 to $10,000 a month, very, very difficult. So get some money in through the door. This is why I highly recommend using a platform like Upwork.com. So now I covered Upwork, why it's important. When it comes to cold email, there are two sides. There are a technical side, and there's a creative side. The technical side is your email infrastructure and your deliverability. When it comes to email infrastructure, you want to be able to make sure that the emails that you're writing are actually being delivered into the inboxes they're being sent to. For my personal emails, I don't send any more than 10 emails per account. So this is my own Instantly page. And as soon as, there you go. So some people recommend you want to send 50 emails or 40 emails per inbox. I do not send more than 10. I think 10 is even pushing it, but that's the very limit that I'm willing to do. I usually send about 5. As you can see here, I have about 96 email addresses. If you have 10 email accounts, you're going to be able to send a maximum of 100 emails a day. That's not enough to get market feedback. The only point when you write your creative, there are 3 things you're looking for. You're looking for a strong offer, a better offer than anybody else on the market, an amazing risk reversal. If they spend the time taking this meeting, is there a certain amount of risk that is taken off the table that will allow them to move forward on the deal? The third thing is your case studies. So 10% is the offer, 10% is a risk reversal, 80% is the case study. As long as you have 20%, you'll most likely make it if you just stick with it long enough and you iterate after every piece of copy. So you write a piece of copy, you send it to 100 people, see the type of response you get back. If you get 0 responses, you come back to the drawing board, you rewrite that piece of copy, and then you send it back. Now, you want to give your cold email outreach at least 6 months. I would recommend longer than that, but at least you have some money coming in through the door with Upwork. You want to give it 6 months realistically. Some people will say 2 months, 3 months, but that's not enough. You want to give it 6 months. For me to sign my very first deal when I was first starting out a year and a half ago, it took me 5 months to sign my very first deal. And that deal was only worth $2,000 even though I had my prices at $10,000. But the reason why, I understood how important momentum is. I know as long as I had that one deal coming through the door, I'll sign another deal in a month. And that's exactly what happened. I signed one deal between $5,000 to $10,000 a month every single month after that for 5 months in a row. And that gave me enough momentum to carry on. By the way, side note, once you start lead generation, never stop. Once you figure it out, don't ever stop. It's one of the most important things you'll ever do. Now, we talk about sales. You don't really have to worry about sales. As long as you got a top of the funnel very, very full, the sales will always come because there's a certain amount of people that respond to your email are just going to buy no matter what. You could say anything to them, they're going to buy. You don't have to sell them hard. You don't have to do any of that. They're here to basically, you're here to basically take an order and move on forward. So you don't have to worry about having all these sales technique and all this fancy stuff. Look, people are in, they're out, they're out. That's the kind of mindset that you want. Also, when it comes to outreach, there's an article here by Instantly, and this is a fantastic article. It basically talks about the cold email strategy. This is a little bit dated. They recommend having 50 email addresses. They recommend. Now, there's an article by a company called instantly.ai, and they have an amazing article. It's basically the cold email strategy. And this will show you whatever the email infrastructure looks like. And if you copy this, you can't go wrong. The only thing that's dated is they recommend sending 50 emails per day per inbox. Don't do that. Send 10. A lot of things have changed since the article came out. Yeah, they say updated 4 months ago, but they didn't update the email side of things, right? So 10 emails per, even I would recommend 5, but 10 emails per account. And there are a whole bunch of resellers they could get your email addresses from. Now, when it comes to be able to sign your very first client, here's kind of what the action plan looks like. So I know it's kind of, my face is kind of covering some of it, but just hold on for a second. So the first 14 days, you warm up your email account and you write 8 pieces of copy and you start building some of the marketing and sales assets. Day 12, day 14 is you launch the outbound campaign and you start reviewing and developing the offer to make it even better depending on how the market's reacting to it. Day 30 is you create your sales letter and your arguments. That basically means that people will say certain things to you over email. They'll say either, hey, I'm interested, let's book a meeting. Not interested, take me off your email list. Can you give me more information? Or can you send me a Loom video? You'll pre-prepare arguments to those questions beforehand before they send it out, so you could reply to them within 2 minutes. You start refining the outbound strategy. And for my email campaign, for example, if I have 97 email addresses, 50 of them will be active for 4 weeks in a row. And the other 47 will be in warm up. So I don't touch 47. So half of them I don't touch, half of them I run for 4 weeks. Then I keep alternating them out. And basically day 30, you want to start ramping up your campaign. So if you have 100 email addresses, you're only sending 3 emails per email account. You want to start ramping that up where you're sending 5, even up to 10 if you have a really strong offer. Day 60 to 90, you're probably starting to close some deals now. It does take that long to close a deal. Sometimes 6 months. So you want to be aware of that. Day 60 to 90, you start closing some deals and you start refining some of the sales process. And now you're starting to close some deals. Day 80, you're starting to expand regions. Maybe you want to experiment with different countries. You want to work on the hiring and training process. And you also want to start introducing automations and virtual assistants. But do never introduce automations early on. That's the biggest mistake AI automation companies make. They try to optimize a little bit too early in the beginning. You want to make it as much work as possible in the beginning, to be fair. And you want to create an environment that allows you to do that, right? So that's basically what the steps look like. And one of the things that you'll have to get really good at outside of deliverability, and deliverability, the technical side, is you want to work on your copy. And the real things that I was talking about earlier is the offer, risk reversal, and case study. You really want to perfect these, because if you send somebody something that they're actually actively looking for, or they should be looking for, and you say you've already done it before for X, Y, and Z company, you're going to do extremely well. I hope that was a good overview on how to get your first client. So just to recap really quickly, is you need momentum early on. As fast as possible, sign whatever it takes. As soon as you begin, sign your very first client, get a first dollar in through the door. So that gives you some level of belief. If they want to purchase an email address and you only make $1, that's what you do. And you do that, again, as quickly as possible. Once you have that, your emails are warming up based on the graph that I shared with you. And you want to start sending out emails as a test, but never ever be married to a piece of copy, never be married to a platform. Always say, I'm curious to see what kind of response I'll get back with this output. If you're not getting a strong enough response, get the cold email back, rewrite it, send it again. And just keep doing that. Keep on iterating. All this is a game of iteration. If you iterate more than the next guy, you'll have more knowledge than the next guy, and you'll just naturally do better. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.